Michelle Mras, and we are on MentalShift, Reach Your Full Market Potential. I have to do my disclaimer. The opinions made by the host or guest do not reflect those of the show, management, the Bender Carey Group, or its ancillaries. And with that, this is my friend Ingrid. And I was just singing the song. Do you know the song by, oh gosh, I can't remember, but it's called Peekaboo from the 80s. I was singing Peekaboo, Peekaboo, down, 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 down. Seriously, we are businesswomen. But her last name is Pyka, as in Pikachu. Pyka.
I actually was at a place one time where one of the team members had to bring her son in because he wanted to meet Dr. Pikachu. Needless to say, he was a little disappointed when I showed up.
Yeah, you're not cute and pink.
No.
Oh, yellow.
Yellow. Yes, yellow. Yes, no.
But you are normally wearing pink.
Pinkish, magenta, purple.
Yes.
Yeah. See, there we go.
But she's cute and she's goofy like me. And we caught her at the beginning, right? Because she was making faces. That's why I pushed the button. Now, welcome, Ingrid.
Thank you, Michelle.
She also brought me some chai tea. It's really, really, really yummy.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Always go for the local places, right? They've got the best.
Yeah, this is awesome. So, Ingrid, you're with IBP Strategies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming B is your middle name. What's your middle name?
It does happen to be B. What also happens to be the case is that it also stands for Integrative Business Processes.
Integrated Business Processes.
Mm-hmm.
Ingrid B. Pyka.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
That is very clever of you.
And I didn't even realize it until way after the fact.
Oh.
When I put it together, I said, well, I do integrative business processes. And I went, oh my God, that's what I'm calling my company anyway.
It was built into her.
Isn't that crazy? That's who I am.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that happens more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
I wish my name would do that for me, but all I got was magnifying resilient attitudes for success.
Mm-hmm.
Mras.
Pretty cool. You're an M&M.
I'm an M&M, but it's trademarked already. I can't use that.
Yeah, well, but you put your own style on it.
Yeah, I'm an M&M.
That's right.
Actually, I'm an M-A-M, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, Ingrid.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do at IBP?
Strategies. No, it's that. When you think about how often do we get on a desk, and I think most of us will have some point in time where the desk is so scattered, we don't even know where to start. And that's when we have to say, okay, stop. And then we literally take a step back and look and see what we all have and put it all in neat little piles or throw away some things that we don't need at all. And then really start going into the planning process and then growth from that then, because that's when you get to move forward. Well, that's the same thing that we do for IBP Strategies, is that we take the chaos in a business and transform that into calm. And then we bring some of those concepts and ideas and then bring that into progress and results. So it's putting the systems and the things in place to actually make businesses, whether it's an entrepreneur or business to team, succeed.
And her team is brilliant. I've seen her talk on the big stage. She is also a keynote speaker and a trainer. So I've seen her in the works, and just the way her brain works is quite impressive. And I wanted to pick into it.
Oh,
that's why I wanted you on my show.
Well, it is always fun. So first of all, Michelle, I do want to say thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate this.
Well, you're welcome. And I'm glad, and thank you for driving down from Denver to see me.
Oh, we had to. Otherwise, how were we going to share a chai together?
That is true. I needed chai.
Plus, there's a big difference when we have this face-to-face like we're having now. There's a much different symbiotic component of developing the relationships. And we were talking about all kinds of things. In fact, we suddenly had a new concept that we were starting to delve in, and we had to stop ourselves or we were going to go in another direction. Yeah. But that's what happens. It's the magic and the beauty. And that's what I talk to my clients about a lot of times. It starts with just building a relationship or taking a concept and then mulling it and looking at opportunities.
Basically, you are a coach for a big picture. I mean, because that's your gift of seeing the big picture and then pulling through what needs to be worked, where the bottlenecks are or whatever.
It starts with that. It actually also as many of us know, it starts with begin with the end in mind.
Yes.
And from that big picture, it allows us to kind of situate that end goal. What is the vision? And making sure everyone on the team is aware of it and understands what this truly means to the company and what it also means to each individual's part of that implementation.
Well, they have to have buy-in. I mean, if they're not part of it, then they're not part of it, and they don't care.
Yeah.
And that's part of your magic, is finding who they are in that mix so that they have ownership in the outcome.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I was working with an individual just this morning on where she has a product that she feels so strongly about and doesn't know which story of hers to share. So as we were talking about this, I said, you know what, take the product out of the whole mix of things. Why are you doing this? Because let's pretend that you find a better product in 5 years. You're not going to be promoting the product. You're promoting what your message is. Mm-hmm. And it suddenly allowed her to cue in on several stories that she can now share and make sense and bring her audience to her, which will then trigger the questions, well, how do you? Well, I've got this wonderful product that can help you.
Well, and I was about to say, don't choose a story. Each story means something and will touch someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're meant to be heard.
Yeah, totally agreed with that.
Ignore the clicking. I don't know what it is. It's my chair.
That's okay. Hold still.
Okay.
That's a hard thing to ask Michelle to do.
It is. It's very difficult for me. I'm like, I can hear clicking. Ingrid, keep talking so I can fix my chair.
Keep talking so I can fix my chair.
Okay.
There, you fixed?
Yes, I think I'm fixing it.
Good. You know, this actually brings up something that we always have to talk about, is what happens when something comes that's a little bit of an obstacle? What do we do? Do we stop and start all over again? Or do we just...
Be water. Go up, around, over, or through. Just be water.
Exactly. And tread your new path.
Mm-hmm. I love talking about new paths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's about mindset, right?
Yep, it's all about mindset. And I always quote Byron Katie about, I think it's Byron Katie. There's 3 types of business or control in this world. Mm-hmm. Mine, yours, God's, and the universe's. And you control how you react to situations. So bad and good are all relative. It's how you react is what it really is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also, what I like to do too is making it a win-win-win. Mm-hmm. We always talk about there are those that will hand out a business card here, buy from me, you know, this is what I want. Oh, it's going to help you do this and this, but it's missing the point. And then there are others that are just the givers, and that will just give and never receive, and so that doesn't work either because it's too one-sided. You have to receive before you can give.
You've got to fill your pitcher so you can give out more water out of that cup.
Yeah, and then there's the helpers, which then changes again the mindset and the shift. Instead of giving or taking, we help, almost like teaching someone to fish, right? And it becomes a win-win-win plus. How do you make it a win, a triple win or more? I was once I was shooting for a 10-way win. By the time I finished it, the whole project, it ended up as a 12-way win. And I'm not talking about 12 individuals. It was a 12 components win. It was so cool. And that's what makes it a success, and building those relationships along with it.
She's brilliant. I'm telling you, her team, they're brilliant.
But you have to work with the best, right? When you're surrounded by the best, like you,
become the best.
It lifts you with it.
Yes, was that rising tides, all boats rise.
Yeah. And do you have times when sometimes you're just, I can't do this anymore. It's just too much.
Yes, and that's when I reach out to people that will make me realize that I am worthy. Yeah. That it's okay, and that bad things can happen, but shift my mindset and see where the positive is. Oh, well, you'll have downtime and you can think a little bit more.
Exactly.
Or whatever it is, right? Yeah. There's always a way.
Yeah.
Now I have to ask you a question because I know the story, but no one else knows the story. What's your secret back life, young lady?
Well, there's lots of those, but okay. I think what you're referring to is I started my adult life as a veterinarian. Small animal veterinarian.
Dr. Ingrid Pyka.
So And that is something that I still keep my fingers buried.
Yeah, you do.
I still work in hospitals throughout the areas and
Speak at events.
yeah.
Well, tell us more.
Like,
Well, because you had this really cool mobile thing, and you did all this other stuff. I've met you last January, so I have a couple of little stories I have in my head that I have linked to her.
oh,
Yeah, well,
well, it's
you had the mobile unit, and then what shifted in your life that brought you from veterinary world to the speaking and the processing world?
that's a great question. It's actually a great question.
I want to know the mental shift that
Yes.
happened in you.
Yes, and it's I think it's a question that every single one of us, as we're working with our passion for our careers and for our businesses, is so important, because that's what drives us. When it's strong enough that it builds from there, then there's no way but up, right? It started when I was even applying to veterinary school. Is the funny story behind that is, when I was younger, I recognized I wanted to work with animals, and I believed at that point, I love animals and I hate people. So luckily, as time comes along, I realized at the time it was because I didn't know how to communicate people and how to listen, which then I have developed. And now actually I really love people.
Say she loves people. She cannot say that.
I love people. I love working with people. I love meeting new people. However, so when I went into veterinary school, it was already in my mind process. If I don't get into veterinary school because the odds were not great at the time, then I'm going to take a different career path into business and or law. Fortunately, I did get into the veterinary school, and I went through that program. During that time, I still did some business and actual presentation training, so that I had that on board. When I graduated, the first job I took, I was so excited, right? Took the job, and it lasted about 3 months.
Oh,
you want to know why?
Why?
Because every patient that we saw had a pre-assigned set of medications and treatments that had to go home. And I couldn't do that. I had to treat every patient individually. So I've been in the small corporation, I've been in the large corporate world, I've been in the Taj Mahal type of practices. The one that was most mind-shifting to me was when I took on a position as the hospital director in a nonprofit. It was Colorado's largest nonprofit, which since then has actually joined with another organization. So when I got on board, it was they were already undergoing a transformation where they had been donating over $100,000 a month into patient care, and they were funded through a foundation. This is obviously just unsustainable, right? So the organization was in a shifting process at the moment of weaning graciousness down a little bit, and making sure that the hospital itself was a self-sustaining organization. That's a really different mindset for the people that were working there, because now must have very difficult conversations with pet owners, and that's tough. During that time, I would go in and I would still see patients, and I would go in one and I see this little puppy with a broken toenail, or I see a kitty cat with an abscess or ear infection and such, and you know, the usual routine things. And as we go through, I would go through the record and I would recognize, wait a minute, your puppy hasn't had vaccines, and there's some pretty potentially deadly diseases out there that we need to get your pet vaccinated for. And I would have this conversation educating the pet owners and the families about it. And they said, well, yeah, that is important. I do want this for my pet. I love my pet. It's a family member. How much does it cost? And I was able to explain to them, normally it would be this. Together with the donations and the grants that we had set up with a new, more sustainable system, we are able to bring the cost down to this level. Yes, Dr. Pyka, please, when do I come back? And so they're all excited. Well, I would go through this cycle multiple times. Finally, I went up to the client service representative and I said, help me understand this. You have the same knowledge that I do. You know that's what's best for the pet in making sure that their safety, the family's safety. Why is it that the owners are hearing this story from me for the first time?
Yeah, it should be from the get-go.
Right. Well, you know what the answer was? Well, Dr. Pyka, they can't afford it. They can't afford it. So here was somebody in the organization that's there representing the general health and mission of the hospital, yet they weren't fulfilling the needs of the patient.
Didn't even give them the option.
Didn't even give them the option. They were taking that life and death decision away. Well, that was actually where suddenly the sparks flew in my head. I went, aha. I can see one dog. I can see another dog. I can see another cat. But how limiting is that? When I'm able to train and get everyone on the same page and revise the policies and the procedures so it's an efficient flowing mechanism that is not only profitable for the business itself, it's also engaging with the clients and providing the best care that was supposed to happen, as well as making it an enjoyable experience for those that work there, that's the way I can reach unlimited pets.
You had a mental shift?
A total mental shift. And in this organization, I was meeting very successful CEOs. This was in 2008, 2010, when there was the crash. Does that sound familiar in that timing? So there were tons of people that were laid off, that didn't have the funds, and were forced to utilize our organization to help with their medical care for their pets. So it gave me an insight to their lives as well and what their losses were. I was working with ballerinas from the London Ballet, crippled. I had one client that was a very successful businesswoman, right? Like what you and I do. One car accident, permanent brain damage. So how can we not only support them, how can we prevent as much as possible and make a long-term sustainable, so regardless of the dips and valleys that we have in our economy, that a little guy, that's us, can do this. So that was it. That's my shift.
Huge mental shift. Stopped thinking of one and started thinking of many.
Yeah. And it's been a great journey on the way. I've learned a lot. I've been able to see what happened with some of the people that it's just been really phenomenal.
Well, did you see how for those of you who are watching, you could see it. But for those of you who are listening on the podcast, look up the YouTube video because her entire face lights up. She found her passion. And I love to say that to everyone out in the podcast world. Find your passion, because then everything else starts falling into place when you allow what you truly love to come out. It takes a bit to find it. Sometimes it hurts when you find it. But once you're in it, it's like magic.
And even throughout this journey, I've had so many transformations and revisiting. I've rebranded, 3 times now? And now this is it. And it took me a while to realize, oh my God, I am the integrated business processes.
You are the brand.
That's why Ingrid Pyka. It's me. It's cool.
And it was right in front of her face the entire time and didn't know it.
Since I've been born.
Ingrid, thank you so much for sharing that, because I wanted people to hear the story, because IBP strategies, when they look at that, people are like, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But to know your story, to understand what she does, what her team does, is they don't look at things like normal people look at things. She honestly, I think her brain works like Sherlock Holmes, where she's got this brain house, or her people are like, there's a house there, and as soon as she looks at something, she moves them into different compartments in the room, and she has filing cabinets that move around, and she shifts it, because that's how the brain works in Ingrid's world.
That's probably the best description I've ever heard, Michelle.
Your brain does work that way, doesn't it?
It does.
I can see it.
It totally does. That is really a great way to, yeah.
You've got a brain house.
Well, it also, it isn't very much different than when I look at a patient and I see, okay, why is this patient sick?
Yeah.
Right. And the first thing that we do is get to know them. Let them get to know us. So there's that relationship building portion. And then there comes the examination. Well, in the business world, that actually translates to, okay, I need to have conversations with the team. I need to have their reports. I need to look at these reports and analyze them. And then the diagnostic tools, we need additional reports and pull it out. And then comes the treatment plan. Okay, we're going to give this pill. And this is what's going to happen. This is how the clients are going to respond and react. And the customers and the staff. And then finally you do the rechecks, right? I want to see how that ear infection is doing. I want to see how the client retention is doing. And it goes in a continual circle over and over and over and over.
Brilliant.
It's fun.
It is.
It's who we are.
It's difficult for me to talk to Ingrid because I'm trying to stay focused and I'm not doing a very good job.
Oh, but that's conversation. It's
I
conversation.
know.
That's what it's all about.
Well, because I want to learn more about you, but I want to sidetrack into the way your brain works, and I really can't do that right now.
Okay, well, stay focused.
Yeah.
What was the other list of questions?
The other list of questions is in file 2 on the left side of your brain.
Yeah,
She
that's
says, what?
clouded with the rest of them at the moment.
Okay, it's in room
kind
3.
of stuck right now. Lost that lock and key.
But that's what's so cool about you. I mean, I met Ingrid at Gary Barnes's Breakthrough Business Boot Camp.
Mm-hmm, the Mastery Boot Camp.
Mastery Boot Camp up in Denver. And I watched her from afar. And then when I started dancing, she started dancing, you know, because our music guy, our AV guy was playing music. I'm dancing, and I look across the room, she's dancing too. And I went, I need to know this lady. And then when she got up on stage, I'm like, I need to know this lady. And that's how our relationship has been built, because I haven't been able to actually meet her. And I only see her at boot camps.
And what's funny is I have the same thing about you. When I saw you and Michelle, seeing you on stage, that stage just, there's only you. Your speaking is so touching. It's so real. And for those of you that have not had a chance to see Michelle's TEDx talk or some of the other talks that she has on your website, which is, what is again, michellemras.com, right? I would encourage you highly to visit those and just randomly scroll and pick one, and every single one. Oop, there you go. Yeah,
my YouTube page.
There it is. And just randomly scroll. And not only are they insightful, they also provide more. If you're looking for a mentor, this is the woman that helps to do that.
She just turned my podcast on me.
How did I do that?
I don't know. Very efficiently, though. Isn't she amazing?
We love doing that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
No, I love speaking on stage. It's my passion. It's what I love to do. But podcasting and sharing knowledge and stories from other people was huge for me, because I realized that my stories had impact from the stage, but it was only me. And then people would come to me and tell me their stories, and I went, your story needs to be on stage too. And they're like, oh no, I'm not going to do it. Now, Ingrid would say yes. But most people, oh no, I don't want to do it. Well, will you come on my podcast and talk about it? Because other business owners need to hear that bad things happen, or life changed them, or they lost their first business and then something happened. They didn't give up. They kept pushing. And right when they thought it was darkest, something went. They had a mental shift and life got good again. And they went, whoa, I found it. This is what I'm going to do. And that's what Mental Shift is about, is helping you find your passion. Whatever business you're in, if you're having a day where you're thinking, I can't do this anymore, I don't know why I'm doing this. Mental Shift is so you can watch it, and I honestly believe that you will watch it at the time you need to and hear the story you need to hear, so that you can get through this and realize what you're doing is what you need to be doing. Do it.
No kidding. Absolutely.
I love stories.
And it's hard for us. There's also that next level of where, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and bringing out that passion into a product or a service, and that tends to be a struggle for many entrepreneurs.
Well, I noticed with a lot of the entrepreneurs that I've had on the show, it's money. It's like, I want to give. And it's like, you need to make money so you can give. And that's where a lot of entrepreneurs get locked in that. But if I'm a giver and I'm charging, then I'm no longer a giver. It's like, no, then you can give more. People put value when they have to give a price. And that way you are sustainable and they become more sustainable.
And that's really it right there. It is the value. Because the passion you have, you're applying that into a value product. It may be a service, it may be something that you're doing. That is still, in a business sense, that's still a product. It's something that you are exchanging in return for funding. In return, there is a price tag attached to that, so that, like Michelle was saying, you can sustain that and help even many more. Think of the many people that you wanted to touch, right? Or you still want to touch. And how many people have the right to know you and get to know you? And just knowing you isn't enough. They have to be able to apply what you're offering, whether it be an actual widget or whether it be a program, a teaching program, or a coaching program. Those are all pieces in someone else's life that's going to bring them from here to there and succeed. And that has value.
Yeah.
They need you.
They need you.
Now the thing is how to translate that and how to let other people find you and know you. So that is that visibility, and that comes into, first of all, you got to have a marketing plan so you're financially sustainable, and then you develop it into a marketing strategy.
I'm pointing at your name.
There. That's me.
Oh
wait, I'm backwards.
IBP strategies.
Let's do it this way. No, here we go. There we go.
There it is.
So in putting it into an actionable plan, and I make a big difference between an action plan and a plan of progress.
Mm-hmm.
Think of a car stuck in the snow.
Yes, give us the difference. Yes.
Yeah. So when you're driving along in the snow and all of a sudden you feel those tires slipping, and then it's like, uh-oh. And you're going, okay, let me just speed up a little bit. And you just get stuck, and you're going and spinning. In fact, your car is starting to shift even more, and you're going deeper and deeper in that snow. The difference between an action plan and a plan of progress. The plan of progress, you're actually taking wooden planks and putting them underneath your tires. You're taking a shovel and shoveling out the extra snow. You're putting together and asking people to help push and move you forward. That's the plan of progress that is going to get you from point A to point B.
Momentum.
Absolutely.
It will build your momentum.
It does.
Well, oftentimes we talk about normal people doing their businesses, but what we're talking about today with Ingrid is if you are an entrepreneur, if you're a business and you've got your wheels are spinning in that ice,
mm-hmm.
IBP strategies are the wooden planks underneath your tires that help you build that traction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the traction you need to find your guidance, to not just have an action plan, but to be the plan of progress. And that's what Ingrid is.
Yeah. And our logo has the 5 stars, and the 5 stars, and then there are 3 that are different colors. The different colors are the stop, step back, and grow. The 3 stages in the life cycle of a business. Say it slower. Stop. So there's the stop. As we started out at the beginning, we were talking about the cluttered desk. So it allows you to see all the assets and become consciously aware of everything you have. Everything. Even what people call failures are assets. Because we learn from those, and we know, okay, I'm not going to do that again. It's called experience, right? I think of Thomas Edison, right?
Oh, yes.
999 failed light bulbs. And he coined the phrase of saying, that's 999 ways I know how not to do it. And guess what? Now we have these light bulbs.
Pretty cool.
And then the step back is that part of our mental mind shift of taking and putting all those different pieces together so they fit. It's almost like the yellow brick road, and it's leading you to the Wizard of Oz. In this case, the wizard's not hidden behind this weird magic. This is what you're going to accomplish, your vision. And the grow component is the activation of your plan of progress and integrating it into your day. And if you get stuck, you just circle back around. Okay, hold on here. Why is this not working? What do I have that I can put back together to build me another path towards my goal? So those are the 3 golden stars in our logo. And then the 5 stars stand for 5-star customer service and 5-star employee experience. And there's a little character that's just all jumpy, happy, and throwing out, and that's our little power logo.
Cool. I did not know that. Now I do.
Yeah. So there's it's
stop, step back, grow, 5-star.
And that's actually the title of my book.
Oh yeah, you have a book.
I do.
I failed to say that.
No, that's okay.
Ingrid has a book. What's your book called?
Stop, Step Back, and Grow.
And I'll put a cover of it.
3 keys to long-term and repeatable success. Repeatable is important.
Repeatable's huge because you can have success once and then get stuck in the snow again.
Yeah, yeah. And I just released a couple months ago, or a month ago. Yeah, a couple months ago. Oh my goodness, time flies. I released the blueprint to that, which extracts the kind of the prompts that are in the book and have them as a blueprint guide. So it's a complete guide. So people can take those out. You can photocopy them as many times as you want to. So if you the process again. It's a repeatable process. I want to make it repeatable. Use it.
But they can call you. You can come in, give a good talk, start them off.
Training teams love it.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Keep you going. Well, because the other thing is you do come into teams and you do speak, and then you can prompt them with that book. And so start them off. Then the book, they can take it and take the blueprint and just keep going with it. Repeatable processes.
Yeah. Yeah. In a few weeks, I'm going into a business team where very successful organization. The company's been doing very well. It's been doing there for a long time. They're actually in the process of a potential ownership. So change management will be happening shortly. And we're going in and talking about some of the communication factors. How do you make sure that this is a smooth transition? And how do you maintain the work-life balance, right? So a lot of that core is communication and systems.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, wait, we got to do this together.
We both raised our eyebrows together.
Let's say synchronism.
So,
up, down,
right.
up, down.
For those of you who are on the for those of you on the podcast, yes, I'm sorry, we're making facial expressions because both of us are very expressive.
Expressive. We are rather expressive, bouncing across the stage.
Yes, we are. I just love it. Well, I'm so excited. So the stop, step back, and grow, and then the 5-star customer service and employee experience. Did I miss anything? She's got a book. Where can they find your book?
Well, they can come to my website at ingridpyka.com, and will shortly be available on Amazon as well. And yeah, or just call me. We'll get it to you.
Now, Ingrid was also on the TEDx stage,
Yeah.
and we'll be on it again. So look for her, okay? Look for her. And it's not Pikachu. It's Pyka. She's got a trick name. It's German, and it is German, right?
Actually, we've been able to trace it as back to Russian.
Russian.
Where the Cyrillic P is actually pronounced R and the Y is pronounced U. So technically, I should be having you say this. I'm Ingrid Ruka, which means hand. But I figured that gets too confusing. We'll just stick with Pyka.
Pyka works. But hand works too because she lends a hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Ooh, you're just all over the place with your name. It just kind of locks everything in place.
A lot of manifesting that's going on, huh?
It really does. It's pretty amazing. Well, Ingrid, is there anything you wanted to share that we didn't come across yet?
I think when I look back at what's brought me the success in my life, I would like to share with you a very quick 3 rules, or not rules, but 3 wisdoms that were taught to me and that I've lived by through my whole life.
Please.
The first one was by my father, who, as a soldier in World War II, I would ask him, how did you survive all of this? How did you get through that? I mean, the hunger, the cold, and the atrocities that were going on. And his answer was very simple. Es ist so. Which is, it is so. Which means no matter what's going on around you, as long as you take what you can take and figure out, put all the energies into how to get out of it and how to move you to the next level, then it's not going to matter as much what's going on, and it will bring you to that next level. The second wisdom was my grandmother. She's like 4 foot something, a little ball of energy. She's awesome. And I'd ask her, Oma, why is it that you're so special? Why does everyone love being around you? Why are you always laughing and having a wonderful time? And her response was, Ingrid, you see, it's like this. When you see someone doing something that you don't like, then don't do it yourself. Yet when you admire something that's going on by someone, then emulate that and learn, how can you do the same? How can you better yourself? So it's always a memory. How can I do better? If something didn't work the way I liked it, how can I do better? And I look at other people. And just like Michelle, you are a role model. And I look and see, how can I emulate what Michelle is doing, even aside from the podcasts and her speaking, but what can I do that's making her so successful? And the third wisdom, my high school counselor. It was the end of high school. It was a grueling decision. Where do I choose to go after high school graduation? I knew that each path would take me in a very different journey. And Mr. Henry tells me, no matter which path you choose, You can never look back and wish you had taken the other because you didn't. You see, the decision you made was based on all the information that you have at this time, and it's the right decision at that point in time. As you journey on this one path that you have chosen, rightfully so, you can still make decisions on altering a new path after that based on what you have. But never regret what you've done in the past. Always be looking forward. And so to Michelle's followers, I wish you the same and looking forward to all the great stuff that you can do.
What a wonderful end. I love that. One, it is so. It is so. Mm-hmm. Your attitude. How do you deal with that? Number two, if you don't like something, don't do it. If you admire it, then emulate it.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I live, actually. And then the third is don't look back. It really is. There are three great ways to live your life without a lot of stress because you just keep moving. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Michelle, it's been wonderful to be here. I really appreciate it. I look forward to all the fun trouble we're going to get into.
It's going to be trouble because our minds both work like 15 billion miles an hour, and we're always thinking of something new in order to help grow and stretch people in our communities so that they can be the best versions of them. So reach out to Ingrid at IBP Strategies. I'll have her website down in our image and in the description. So reach out to her. Really nice lady, brilliant. Talk to her. And until next time, thank you for joining us on Mental Shift. Reach your full market potential and be the best version.